This quote is something that I use all the time. Buckminster Fuller, brilliant. He was a brilliant man, created the geodesic. He taught architects. You know what the first thing is he taught them? Is forget everything you know. Forget everything you know. And he said, if you want to change something, don't change it by fighting the existing reality. If you want to change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. Now, I want you to really think about that. And you might even write this down and commit it to memory. I did right from the beginning. I use it all the time. So how many times do you find yourself, you're in a relationship and it's just one problem after another? How much of your energy are you putting into fighting the existing reality? In other words, just parsing through what went wrong, why there's problems, versus saying, okay, we know we got a problem. It's not how we want it. Let's create a new model. Let's start behaving this way with each other. It works in relationships. It works with companies. It works with everything. I use this with the companies. When I came in to run the companies, 19 of them, and they were not a cohesive whole, and at all. And it would have been so easy to put my energy into solving all the problems that I saw in front of me. And people wanted me to do that. You got to solve this. You got to do this. This is most critical. And instead, I created a new model of what this company would look like. And that model existed only in my mind for the longest time, but it was vivid. It was real. And it was a new model that would make the old model obsolete. Literally, you create this new model. You don't put your energy into what you don't want, and what you don't want starts to fall away. A lot of it falls away by neglect. Literally. I remember thinking I had to do everything. All these emails would pop in. I had to answer every email. I had to answer it right away. I had to solve all these problems. And I heard Bob say, many things can be solved by neglect. And at first I thought, well, that doesn't sound very responsible. And I realized it's such a beautiful truth. You got to create your own model. You got to decide on the agenda for your life, for your day. What are you doing today? Are you going to be just propelled by everything around you, or are you going to be propelled by this new model that you have created? And here's something to really keep in mind. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. It's who you think you're not. And we're going to spend a lot of time this weekend talking about who you are. And if you can really take that in and understand who you are and understand right here, right now, there is a power that's flowing to and through you. Energies flowing to and through you. And it's undifferentiated. And you shape it with your thought. Everybody has the same energy flowing to and through them. The only thing different between all of us is the thought, the funnel we've created with our thought that differentiates that energy. And that energy has no purpose other than to help you express your individuality. When you really understand that and get that at a deep level, you believe you can create anything you want for your life and be anyone you want for your life. So don't think this way that it's who you think you're not. Understand who you truly are, every one of you. Self-confidence is the first prerequisite to great undertakings. I learned that lesson a really hard way with Bob. I had told him right in the beginning, I want to run the company, but I want to understand this industry. So I want to go on every speaking engagement you go on. I want to learn to teach this like you. I'm willing to do the work. I'm going to do it. I traveled 300 days with him the first year. It was so intense. I couldn't believe how much energy he had. He was a pure channel for energy, just flowing to and through him. Nothing could stop him. I was just amazed and fascinated. And we were on a trip to Romania, and they were going to have Bob speak for a day. And there were at least 1,000 people in the room. There were translation booths in the back, 7 of them. They were translating simultaneously into seven different languages. And Bob's out there teaching all morning, and this is later in the year, And I don't remember exactly what month, maybe September. And I had attended a lot of events with him. And on the side, I was studying, I was preparing, but I had never gone out and taught. And Bob gets off the stage, and it's lunchtime. And he turns to me and he said, "Okay, you're on for an hour after lunch." And I thought he was joking, and he was not. And so then we go to lunch. He's telling everyone what a great presentation I'm going to give. And I'm like, how does he know? He's never heard it because I've never given it. And, you know, I'm starting to feel really sick. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? I all of a sudden had no confidence. And I wasn't used to that. Again, this is where you got to stretch, you got to get uncomfortable. I was like, I want to go back to my bank mergers. I can do my bank mergers. I felt confident with bank mergers. Now, here's the funny thing about self-confidence. How many of you in the room would feel comfortable if I said, okay, go into the boardroom and negotiate this bank merger? Probably not many, maybe a few, probably not many. But some of you would say, yeah, I want to go out on stage. I was saying, get me out of here. And lunch went really fast, and I'm like not feeling good. And Bob's miking me up, and he's picking up that I'm not feeling too good. And he's like, wow, do you want to go out there? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I go out there, and I'm on stage, and there's speakers, and other people are lined all along the side, people in the company that had brought him in. And Bob's right in the middle there. And I'm out on stage, and so he says you have an hour, right? So I start talking, and I really get into it, and I'm so excited because I'm on a roll, and it's so good. And then I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. And I look down at the clock, and I'm thinking, surely I'm going over my time. And I look at it, 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I had nothing left. I mean, I gave him everything I knew. And I turned, and I looked at Bob. Do you know what he did? He turned and looked away. And I'm like, serious? I wanted any kind of, I don't care if it was just, you know, whatever. And he turned away. And for a flash of a second, I was so pissed off. And but then I thought, okay, I'll walk down in the audience. I'd seen Bob walk down in the audience and work with people. So I walked down in the audience. I started working with people. And of course, then whatever they said sparked something in my mind, and it just flew by. It just totally flew by. But what's the lesson there? Well, first it was funny because one thing crossed my mind when I was going out on stage was I could hear people in my imagination saying, "Where's my Bob?" You know, because they only got him one day. And so this one guy that I'd gone up and talked to, he came up to me afterwards and he goes, "When you walked out there, I was so pissed off." I'm like, "Where's my Bob?" He goes, "But I was so glad you were out there." And it turned out well. But what's the lesson? Sometimes to get this confidence, because what is confidence? It's experience and knowledge. You might have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the experience, you may be challenged with self-confidence until you start to develop a confidence that you can do anything you set your mind to, because you understand who you are. And so I gained that self-confidence by Bob turning away, leaving me to figure out on my own how to do it. Self-confidence, first prerequisite to great undertakings.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We put a lot of good information up here, and it causes everything in your life to get better. If you'd like us to notify you every time we put a new video up, hit subscribe and then turn on notifications. Check out all our videos, and we will notify you when we put a new one up.